Survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's abuse are speaking out loud and clear after a heated congressional hearing with Attorney General Pam Bondi. This happened on February 11, 2026, during an oversight session before the House Judiciary Committee. Multiple women who endured Epstein's sex trafficking ring sat right behind Bondi as lawmakers grilled her for hours. The big issue: the Department of Justice's messy release of millions of Epstein-related files, including poor redactions that exposed some survivors' names, personal details, and even sensitive images like nude photos, while shielding names of powerful associates. Bondi defended the DOJ's actions, saying they released about 3 million pages of documents to promote transparency. She called Epstein a monster and expressed general sorrow for the victims' suffering in her opening statement, but when pressed directly, especially by Democratic Rep. Pramila Jayapal, to turn around, face the survivors in the room and apologize in person for the botched handling that re-victimized them, Bondi refused. She dismissed it as theatrics and wouldn't look at them or say sorry for the specific failures. Every survivor present raised their hands when asked if they had still not met with the DOJ despite years of seeking accountability. Survivors described feeling degraded, dehumanized, and ignored. One survivor, Danielle Bensky, said there was a complete lack of empathy and humanity in the room. She felt re-victimized all over again, like their pain wasn't even considered. Teresa Helm called it a lack of integrity, saying Bondi did everything to remind them they meant nothing. Marina Lacerda felt Bondi dehumanized them by not turning around during the emotional moment when survivors stood and cried, waiting for acknowledgement that never came. Liz Stein pointed out Bondi couldn't even look at them like human beings, showing the administration's true colors. Jess Michaels and others echoed that Bondi turned her back not just on them, but on survivors everywhere. The hearing spotlighted bigger problems: delayed compliance with laws requiring full disclosure, selective redactions protecting potential co-conspirators while failing to safeguard victims, and no new prosecutions against Epstein's alleged enablers despite years of evidence. Survivors have fought for decades, yet feel the system still protects the powerful instead of them. Some had their identities protected for years, only to see privacy stripped away in this release. Then files got pulled back after backlash, but the damage was done. This isn't about politics, it's about basic human decency and justice. These brave women deserve full transparency, real apologies, meetings with officials, and actual accountability for everyone involved in the abuse network. The DOJ must fix the redactions, release unredacted key documents like prosecution memos, and pursue any remaining leads without favoritism. Until then, survivors will keep speaking out, demanding the system stop failing them. Epstein Files: Perversion and Silence Among the Powerful. The Jeffrey Epstein saga exposes raw perversion mixed with deafening silence from those at the top. Epstein ran a massive sex trafficking network that preyed on underage girls and young women, luring them with promises of money, modeling gigs, or connections. He used his private island, planes, and mansions as hubs for abuse, involving powerful friends who partied with him long after his 2008 conviction for soliciting a minor. The files, over 3 million pages, released by the Department of Justice in late 2025 and early 2026 under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, lay bare emails, flight logs, photos, videos, and witness statements showing how this monster operated with impunity for decades. What stands out most is the silence and protection for the elite. Names of politicians, billionaires, celebrities, and royals pop up repeatedly: Bill Clinton, Donald Trump, Bill Gates, Prince Andrew, now facing charges abroad, Les Wexner, and dozens more. These mentions range from social ties and flights to more troubling associations, yet few face real consequences. The DOJ released a list of about 300 prominent or politically exposed individuals whose names appear somewhere in the documents. Some had clear documented links to Epstein. Others appear with no proven wrongdoing or even direct contact. Redactions protected potential co-conspirators while failing to fully shield victims. Some survivors' names, photos, and sensitive details leaked out, re-victimizing them. Attorney General Pam Bondi defended the releases as full transparency, claiming the DOJ met its legal duties and made quick fixes to errors like improper redactions. But critics from both parties hammered her. Redactions hid names of possible abusers while exposing victims. Key files, including some tied to allegations against Trump, went missing or stayed withheld, and no major new prosecutions emerged against enablers despite years of evidence. Lawmakers like Reps. Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna forced unredactions after spotting hidden names in FBI lists. Bondi acknowledged mistakes, but insisted no favoritism occurred, no redactions for embarrassment or political sensitivity. Survivors and advocates call it a pattern. The system shields the rich and connected while victims get crumbs. This isn't ancient history. Epstein died in 2019, officially suicide. Ghislaine Maxwell sits in prison for trafficking, but the network's reach lingers. International probes multiply in Europe and elsewhere, yet U.S. action stalls. The files show emails joking about abuse, continued contact post-conviction, and a web of influence that let Epstein thrive. Powerful people tolerated or participated in the depravity, then stayed quiet as the truth trickled out. No grand client list exploded everything as some hoped, but the documents prove elite impunity, perversion enabled by silence, money, and connections. Survivors deserve full accountability, unredacted truth, prosecutions where evidence exists, and an end to protections for the untouchable. The files scream that justice bends for the powerful. Until that changes, the silence continues, and victims pay the price. Please feel free to follow, subscribe, comment, like, and share. This helps you to stay connected to me, and it helps me to remain here creating more content for you. Thank you. Love always, Maria D.C. Santiago.